20. 1,720 is a bid.
30.
30. 7 ain't 30. He bids again. 40.
50.
50. He bids again.
50.
Are you up to it?
Hello,
This man means
and welcome
business.
to the First Brick
Don't
Property
worry.
Podcast,
1.8.
episode
Going,
9.
going,
My name is
going.
KM. I'm the director of First Brick Property Buyers Agency. The purpose of the podcast is to bring a casual style show to discuss all things property, with education being the key. Our episodes will range from discussing a variety of topics to having special guests who can share insights into the property world. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned investor, the show will be able to further your knowledge and really remove any barriers to getting involved in the exciting and fun world of property. Today I'm joined by my regular co-host, the better-looking bearded man, Henny Rosdi. How are you, man?
Very well, very well. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. How are you dealing with coronavirus and all the news spreading?
The biggest threat to me right now is my kids, I reckon.
Yeah, just staying at home with your kids,
Yeah.
causing problems. Yeah,
Losing
fair
my
enough.
voice.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's bound to happen.
I think I've seen a lot of articles about predicting divorce rates to increase
Yeah.
during quarantine.
Yeah.
See what happens there.
Yeah. Another stat for you to share later on.
Yeah, that's it. We'll do that a different episode. Before we get into the episode today, just a few things. Last week's episode, the Coronacast, part 1, we had a record number of listeners and downloads, so thank you to everyone that downloaded that and listened to it. Number 2, we are officially international. We've been international for a few weeks actually, but just decided to talk about it today. So we've been played in the UK, in Canada. Some poor bloke in Hawaii listened to it. It's chilling on the beach, listening to our podcast.
Sounds nice.
And one more thing is, so I was talking to a doctor this week who listens to our podcast, and he was giving me tips on how to be safe about coronavirus and whatnot with all the open houses and everything. Is telling me how to keep safe. He said he didn't want me to die. I said that's nice.
That's good.
He said, yeah, because we can't just have Henny on the podcast.
Yeah.
On his own. So I told you I was going to mention this story on the podcast, so there it is. So if you're listening, doctor,
We've always asked for honest feedback. We got it.
appreciate it.
It's all good.
So today's topic, I guess, I thought we could do an around the ground with coronavirus. What's been happening at the moment around every state and territory. I guess this Coronacast part 2.
Yep.
Let's do it. So obviously with Coronacast. Obviously with coronavirus, there's a lot of fear at the moment. The share market continues to plummet, etc. Some people being made redundant, unemployment rate slightly increasing. A lot of new things are happening in terms of isolation and the rules around what we can do during the day, and retailers closing and whatnot. So
Consumer confidence is pretty low all around.
yeah. Correct. That's a good way to summarize what I was going to say. Perfect. So last week, it was our opinion that it would all be okay and we shouldn't make long-term decisions based off short-term news. But I thought, let's have a look at what's actually happening on the streets right now. So should we do a city-by-city overview of the previous week?
That sounds good.
Cool. Do you want to start with Sydney?
Yeah, so the market has lost some momentum. Auction clearance rates this last weekend were at 64%. Last week, the week before that, auction clearance were at 68%. So it has gone down just a little bit. This time last year, though, 49% clearance, and that was on 370 properties. 776 auctions with 107 withdrawn, and 1,178 private sales this week. 1,255 the week before.
Yeah, that's I think the withdrawn number is the big one that's standing out there. 107 auctions is withdrawn, so that's probably I would say people, I guess, sellers a little bit fearful, and that they might not generate
as much interest as they usually would.
That's it. So pulling that out. I was at an open on the weekend, and there was more than 20 buyers at the one house.
Oh, really?
Last weekend, on the weekend, on Saturday. And I think the difference between last week and I guess weeks before is 20 buyers there, and there was 20 serious buyers.
Yeah.
As opposed to, you might have 20 people, and you might have a couple of neighbors, just having a look what's going on and whatnot. People who are not serious are not going to the opens. But 20 people there. So It's still solid. I think if you look in the good areas, still people there.
Yeah.
There was an auction as well. There was an auction for a property I was looking at, and we had valued a certain number, and it went about 55 grand at least above the market value. So the percentage, the clearance rate has dropped a little bit compared to the week before, but still houses we're seeing in good areas selling really well.
Yeah.
I think because the fundamentals remain the same from what we spoke about last week as well. People withdrawing their properties is causing less supply.
Yeah.
And buyers still need to buy. At that open house that I mentioned, there was the real estate agent was speaking to one of the buyers, and he said to him, "How do you feel coronavirus is affecting, the property market? What do you think?" And he just simply said, "Well, I still need to buy a house. Doesn't really impact me."
Yeah.
And I think that's very important to know, is that, like we said, property isn't investor dominated; it's owner occupied dominated. So he still needs to buy a house. There could be a virus, there could be an earthquake. He still needs to buy a house, right? So important to know, if it's a good property in a good location with the fundamentals. I think that's what we're going to continue to see. So stable income is, if you have a stable income, take advantage of the moment. I think that's what we're seeing in Sydney at the moment. But there are definitely buyers wary and pulling out, as you mentioned, from the withdrawn rate. We'll go into Melbourne. So Melbourne's auction clearance rate this weekend was at 62%, and the weekend before was at 65%. So again, a slight drop like Sydney. This time last year, however, it was at 48% on 661 properties. So still, compared to last year, Melbourne's still 10% plus more. And this year it was at 1,184 auctions. So we've doubled the amount of auctions in Melbourne, and we've had a better auction clearance rate. And only 46 withdrawals. 290 did pass in, so they've probably gone into private sale. There was 905 private sales compared to 793 the week before. So we might be seeing a shift from the auction to the private sale sector, maybe because of, again, that consumer confidence, not enough people jumping on board and pushing prices up in an auction, so maybe more private sales happening.
But overall, still up higher than it was the year before.
Yeah, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
So it's still moving. Lower than last week, but still up. We are seeing more listings in Melbourne, but just not going to auction.
Okay.
So they are coming up. They're just going as private sales at the moment. And I think we'll talk about it a little later with some of the news that came out yesterday.
Yeah.
Auctions not happening too frequently at the moment.
That might have a bit of an impact.
Yeah, it might change auction clearance rates for next week.
All right, well, moving on to Adelaide, the auction clearance rate was at 66% on 47 properties. Adelaide usually isn't a city big on auction. Last weekend, it was 58% on 62 properties. This time last year, it was at 61% on 62 properties, which is pretty much identical, really. There was 2 withdrawals and 282 private sales.
Yeah, so Adelaide, as we know, probably with the rest of the cities we're going to talk about, they're not big on auctions. Sydney and Melbourne are the big auction cities in Australia. But the interesting thing there is that it's pretty much, like you said, on track with what it was last year and last week. So not much change in Adelaide there. So it could be a sign of, steady consumer confidence, maybe not too much panic in Adelaide. Yeah. Brisbane. We had a 35% auction clearance rate on 94 properties. So a bit low, but just like we mentioned with Adelaide, again, not a big auction city. There was 9 withdrawn. Last week it was 52%, so it was considerably higher. Last year was at 35% though, so exactly the same as last year's clearance rate. There was 863 private sales though, which is a very healthy number for Brisbane. So in terms of just overall sales, Brisbane's still ticking along, doing what it's doing, and Brisbane kind of one of those cities that just always does what it does. Tracks along steadily, small growth, doesn't get too impacted when there's big economic issues, but also doesn't boom really quickly like Sydney and Melbourne does. So
Just depends on what the buyer's after.
Correct. So we're actually buying for a client at the moment in Brisbane, and it is very competitive. We were looking at a property, and it sold in 3 days.
Wow.
And we were looking at another property sold in 4 days. So maybe it's panic buying.
People don't muck around in Brisbane.
But, we're looking in top areas again. We're doing all the research and the data, and we're looking at really good areas. And 2 properties sold 3 and 4 days. Above what they were asking for, the vendors. So every market has its opportunities.
Of course. All right, on to Canberra. Pretty busy these days.
Yeah.
Down in Canberra. 65% on 56 properties. Last week, 65% on 51 properties. Same time last year, 43% on 49 properties. 2 were withdrawn, 106 private sales. And it seems pretty steady there at the moment for the time being.
Yeah, which is interesting considering, like you said, there's a lot of spotlight on Canberra at the moment. We do see, actually, historically, whenever there's a lot of political coverage, Canberra actually has massive swings sometimes in a very, very short period of time, but seems pretty steady at the moment. We'll move out to Perth, WA, 23% clearance rate, but that was only on 33 properties, so it's really hard to gauge what's happening in the auction world there. Last year it was actually better. It was at 40% on 44 properties. There was 451 private sales across all of Western Australia. Perth is still a bit sluggish. It's been sluggish for a while. It is performing poorly at the moment. We're not buying in Perth for clients at the moment. We are keeping an eye on it, waiting for things to turn a little bit more, but it is kind of just not moving too well at the moment. So unfortunately, Perth has to kind of wait. I don't know if that's really coronavirus related, to be honest, because it's pretty much what Perth's been doing for a few years now. So hard to say what the variable is there, if it's still just the economic issues or if it's a coronavirus issue, but it's definitely not performing too well at the moment.
I guess we'll get a better idea over the next few weeks.
Yeah, for sure.
For all of these states, really.
Correct.
Tasmania, 33% clearance on 14 properties. 1 was withdrawn, 169 private treaties. And again, Tasmania isn't a big auction city, as with some of the other smaller cities that we've just mentioned. Sales are steady at the moment after having a great last 12 months. Nothing out of the ordinary in Tasmania just yet. Yeah,
cool. So I think that was a nice quick around the grounds look at what's been happening in the last week. Obviously with the changes in Corona, every week might be completely different at the moment. But it's good to just sit back and have a look. And I think for the most part, it seems that nothing major has changed yet. I say yet with a big caveat because who knows what will happen. Consumer confidence can change things very quickly. But at the moment, every city is kind of doing what it's doing and what it was doing, and nothing has really changed there. Chief economist at My Housing Market, Dr. Andrew Wilson, said this week auction markets predictably weakened at the weekend, reflecting the impact on confidence of the strict quarantine measures introduced this week by governments to reduce the impact of the coronavirus. Results nonetheless still tended to favour sellers generally. Lower sales volumes and declining auction clearance rates can be expected. So pretty much what we've just summarised is what he's saying is, they didn't do as well as the week before. But sellers are still doing okay. So and that's what we're seeing on the street level as well. And just looking back at our 2 biggest markets, both Sydney and Melbourne started the year pretty well. But due to the coronavirus and the fear that surrounds it, there have been some buyers putting their purchase on hold and waiting on the sidelines, waiting to see what will happen. Equally, some sellers have withdrawn their property and they're holding out to see what's going to happen. So I was speaking to a friend of mine looking to sell his property at the moment, and he pretty much just said, should I sell it now or should I wait? And should I put it to auction or should I not? So that's, I guess, the question that all the sellers have on their minds right now. In terms of the buyers, I think most buyers are still looking to buy. Secure income, secure job. If you're in a good stay, if you've got buffers in place, why would you not buy, essentially? We know it's a long-term play, so we're not too worried about what's happening in short-term world. But definitely sellers are waiting to see, like you said, which is causing that supply and demand ratio to get outweighed. So actually kind of helping the sellers get good prices.
I guess this might be a good time to talk about some of the things that have been mentioned in the media.
Let's do it.
There was a pretty big announcement that came out this week. And that's that no open inspections, no auctions. And we're definitely going to see a bit of a slump in the market over the next few weeks until that gets lifted. Yeah,
for sure. So we've already taken measures and contacted, all the real estate agents that we work with. Open houses, obviously no more, but private inspections still okay. So we'll be doing private inspections for our clients. I think the big thing about the open houses was the gatherings. Having 15, 20 people in a small room sometimes, they obviously want social distancing and safety measures. So private viewings still okay. And I think that's actually when a buyer's agent might be more favourable, because we have the connections with the agents, get in real quick, have a look. And they know we're serious if we're looking to buy. They're going to open for us straight away. Not that they're not going to open if someone else asks for one. But what we know is if we ask, they're going to open preferably quickly for us. So private inspections still on the cards. So we'll be doing that for our clients. And if anyone needs us to get out there for them, just contact us and we're happy to help. And auctions, we're definitely going to see less auctions at the moment. Auctions still can go ahead online though. So it's going to be a different world in the auction world at the moment. So we'll see some online auctions. Whether sellers are game enough to go online and do it, we'll have to wait and see. But we've been to a few online ones before. They're pretty interesting. You can't see your competition, so it's a bit of a different game. But it is definitely big news. Big news for the real estate sector. So,
but I guess like what you said before, regardless of what's going on, if someone needs to sell, they still need to sell. If someone needs to buy, they still need to buy.
That's right. 100%.
There will obviously be some sort of impact on the market. But there are definitely buyers and sellers that still need to buy and sell regardless. And unfortunately, we may see some more sellers at this time because, people's jobs are, they're not really secured at the moment. Some people may have lost their jobs, which is unfortunate, but it is something that can impact the market. So there is a potential that the supply may increase a little bit and you will see some more sellers. But of course we won't know how that plays out for the next few weeks. But definitely keep an eye on the market and absolutely be vigilant during this time.
For sure. 100%. So we also noticed that the government has not announced any changes in the Residential Tenancy Act at this stage of recording. Landlord and tenant rights and obligations remain unchanged, as we know right now. But we also know that they will be meeting, I think it's tonight or tomorrow, to discuss this. So by the time this goes up live, we could have a completely different world. But at the moment, nothing there.
But there is talk about some relief for both commercial and residential tenants. But again, like you said, we just have to wait and see what they announce, if anything at all. But I think it is, as a side note, market aside, I think it is important for landlords and tenants to just communicate with each other. If you're a tenant and you think, look, you may have some issues paying the rent, you need to speak to your agent, to the landlord. It's in no one's best interest for tenants to be evicted and landlords having to find new tenants during this time. So I think it's important that we keep communication lines open and just look after each other.
100%. There was. I did notice that the government did mention any changes that they do in terms of the Tenancy Act and whatnot. Is they're looking at it from every perspective. So we know that there has been times where Tenancy Act has changed and completely favoured the tenant, and the landlord's been forgotten. And similarly, there's been times where the landlord's been completely in favour and the tenants have been forgotten. I think I've heard from some parliamentary people that they are looking at the entire thing holistically, so to make sure that everyone is in a good position. So they obviously, it's a very difficult time, like you said. So that's a good point. Communicating, just you know, if you just got a problem, let your landlord or your property manager know, and you know, sort it out. And it's a time to really help each other out at the moment. I just wanted to last night there was sorry, not last night, yesterday there was, the banks have made some changes regarding the loan repayments if you are experiencing financial hardship. So I'll very quickly run through the big four banks, what they've said, but we will be posting on our socials some information about every bank and what they've said they're going to do. So they'll go up today or tomorrow. So ANZ, if you're experiencing financial difficulty due to COVID-19, ANZ may be able to support you by putting your home loan repayments on hold for 6 months with interest capitalised if you pause your repayments. ANZ will check in with you after 3 months. So if you are with ANZ and you're experiencing financial difficulty due to Corona, call 1-800-092-536 and they will help you there at ANZ. CBA, do you want to go for it?
So home loan customers requesting financial assistance during this time will be able to defer their repayments with interest capitalised for up to 6 months. For the duration of the support period, no repayments are required. During this time, interest charges will add on to the loan balance, and at the end of the support period, your loan balance will be recalculated to include interest and charges added to the balance, and your loan term will be extended, so that effectively means your repayments will stay the same as they were prior to the commencement of the deferral.
Yeah, that's really
that's great work from CommBank. They've really come to the table, I think.
That's very good from CommBank, NAB, to give some extra breathing room, eligible customers can access a home loan repayment pause for up to 6 months. Eligible customers can pause their home loan payments for up to 6 months, including a 3-month checkpoint. To be eligible, it's for anyone that's a NAB home loan customer affected by coronavirus. So pretty similar to ANZ there.
Westpac is offering reduced fixed home rates at 2.29%. Fixed rate for 1, 2 or 3 years for owner-occupied customers and principal and interest repayments. That's with their Premier Advantage package, and that's effective this Friday, 27th of March. Repayment relief for home loan customers as well. Westpac customers who have lost their job or suffered loss of income as a result of COVID-19 should contact Westpac for 3 months deferral on their home loan mortgage repayments, with an extension for a further 3 months available after the review. Yeah,
beautiful. So the other banks have also replied, but we just won't go through all of them. But it's quite good to see even the banks trying to help out the people. So again, like we said, it will be on our socials. So if you missed it, if you need it in written form, whatever, it will be on our socials soon. And if you need help working out how to apply for these or get any of these, feel free to contact us and we'll give you a hand or get you in contact with the relevant people. We're happy to help. It's just a time at the moment where I think everyone needs to pull in and help each other as much as they can.
And I have seen a few financial planners or accountants and wealth builders that have offered things like free quick phone consultation to discuss what your position is and what your options are. There's a lot of articles out there about the stimulus package that's coming out and, things that people can utilize and take advantage of, as well as other offers by the banks outside of just home loan repayments. So there is a fair bit out there. There is a fair bit of people that are offering assistance. So definitely take advantage of that wherever you can. Yeah, for sure. Beautiful. We'll get back onto a bit of positive news or maybe some more optimistic viewpoints. So we did mention this previously. There are people who are looking at this as a similar situation to the GFC and other big corrections in the Australian property market and taking advantage of the fact that Australian property tends to recover very well after big events. We've seen it time and time again in the past.
If we do see a dip in the property market, at First Brick, I'm very confident, super confident the property market will recover and recover quickly, as it always does, if we do see a dip. And the very famous quote, if you do have a stable income, secure job, pre-approved, ready to go, you've got your buffers in place, we would follow Warren Buffett's advice. Be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. And really look at purchasing property. The fundamentals remain the same. So if you want to know what the fundamentals are, last week's episode 8, Coronacast Part 1, jump on that. Record number of listeners. You don't want to miss that one. It was a great episode. But remember, you can't just buy any old property. You do have to pick the right property. And that's where we can come in and help out. At this moment in time, you can get wrapped up in just buying any property. You might hear that last part we just said, be fearful when I was greedy and greedy when I was fearful, and just go buy anything. And we've seen this happen plenty of times. People would buy anything because they think it's a good time to buy, and then you buy a lemon, it's still a lemon. Doesn't matter when you buy it. So it's important that you find the right property. So contact us if you need help with that. Just a personal viewpoint, and this is going to be very, it might be controversial, might not be. Maybe I shouldn't even mention it. I think it's important that all Australians, we get around each other and really help each other get through this. We don't need to see people fighting over toilet paper in supermarkets. We don't need to be fighting and yelling over little things, right? The bigger things in life, more important things, and we will get through this. Business, I've got many business owners who are friends, personal friends, and they're struggling, and remember all those times you ask your business, those businesses to sponsor your soccer teams and local clubs and whatnot. Now's the time they need your help. So
that's right. Everyone
needs to get around and help each other. I think it's very difficult. I'm seeing a lot of social media commentary around ScoMo's announcements and whatnot. I think it's a very difficult position he's in. Of course. And everyone's got their own views of what's best for them. It's not always easy to run a country. So I think we just need to band together.
100%. Regardless of what's going on at the top of the political chain, we're all down here together, and it's important to look after each other wherever we can, and offer whatever assistance you can, and help others wherever you can.
Sorry for springing that up on you. It's not in the show notes.
I absolutely agree though, so it was all good.
So that's a wrap of our Coronacast 2.0 Around the Grounds episode. We hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully we can get another record amount of listeners to this week's episode. Thank you to Henny, as always, for coming on.
Very welcome.
And thank you for everyone listening at home in isolation, wherever you are. And since you're in isolation and you have plenty of time, you can find all our content on our socials on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok. Just search First Brick Property wherever you are. If you have any topics you would like discussed, such as what we did today, or any questions, we will do a Q&A episode maybe next week. It is our 10th episode. For me, that's a massive milestone. We didn't think we'd get past 2 episodes, to be honest, but we're getting record listeners. So episode 10, milestone episode, we might do a Q&A episode. So send us your questions at hello@firstbrick.com.au, or shoot us a message on our social platforms. We might have a a few special things happening for next week's episode.
Sounds good.
I'll have to inform you of them later, Henny.
If
you enjoyed the episode, we would love a review. This helps us get higher up in the charts and allow more people to find us and listen and learn. We'll take 5-star ratings, please. We'll take less ratings, but we'll take a 5-star preferably. And I rant about this every week, past the pod movement. Just tell one person and let them tell one person, kind of like how Corona is spreading. Just tell one person, pass the pod. Buying property is our passion. Helping you do it is our mission. Thank you all.